Hello everyone, this is Sam I Am from Iraq Currency Watch. Hope everybody's doing okay today. Just wanted to do a video about the Iraqi Dinar. A lot of people don't realize that the IQD has revalued. That's absolutely true. I'm not making it up. This is not a pumper line. This is an actual verifiable event. Now in this chart that I'm showing you, you can see that back from 2006, late 2006, until the end of 2008, the dinar went from about 0.00068 to 0.00086. That's over a 26-month period. That's about a 26% increase. So now, it's not a floating currency. Bear that in mind. The IQD is not a floating currency. These exchange rates are set by the Central Bank of Iraq. And when the central bank raises the value, that's called a revaluation. So the central bank went away from their policy for 26 months. They went away from their policy of exchange rate stability, and they went to what is called a crawling peg. A crawling peg is just a strategy where they bump the value up from time to time to accomplish a certain goal as far as their monetary policy. In their case, they were trying to bring the rate of inflation down from a high of, it was well over 50%. I think it hit up about 70% during this period. And after 26 months of raising the value a few pips at a time, they got the inflation rate down to about 8%. And once it stabilized at 8%, they said, okay, that's manageable. We can live with that. So they stabilized the exchange rate again. They went back to their previous policy of exchange rate stability. But they did revalue from November of 2006 to January 1st, 2009. That's a revaluation. Now, a lot of people will look at this and they will say, yeah, but that's not the revaluation we were looking for. That's just 26%. That's not even enough to cover my exchange fees. Well, that's the problem with the IQD investment. People think it's going to go up by an unprecedented amount to negate all of those fees that they paid in purchasing the dinar. But currencies don't do that. Currencies don't go up 100,000%. They don't go up 10,000%. They don't go up 1,000%. Now, you will see floating currencies from time to time go up by 50% or more. But the most that you'll ever see, I asked John Jagerson about this. If you don't know who John Jagerson is, he is a well-known, highly regarded currency expert. I mean, this guy has, he's studied international finance at Harvard. He's a consultant to Fortune 500 companies. They seek him out for his expertise. And I asked John Jagerson, what was the largest revaluation in history? And his response to me was the Chinese renminbi, or yuan, however you want to say it. It went up about 31% over a period of, I think at that time it was about 6 years. And over the next couple of years, it went up another 4 or 5%, something like that. But he said this was an ongoing revaluation. Revaluations aren't necessarily just a one-time flip of the switch deal. A revaluation can be a strategy that is done over an extended period of time of several years, as was the case with China's currency, and as was the case with Iraq's currency from late 2006 until the end of 2008. Now, for those of you who are thinking, well, yeah, 26%, that's not a very big revaluation. That's puny. I paid a 20% markup when I bought this, and I'm going to have to pay another 20% when I sell it back. So that's a total of 40% in transaction fees or exchange fees, and it only went up 26%. I'm still in the hole. Yeah, that's the problem. See, that's the problem with the investment is you've been misled about how revaluations work. I'm going to show you an article here. Now, this article came out in February of 2012. It says, 3 currencies ready for a huge revaluation. Okay, they're talking about huge revaluations on 3 different currencies. And as you read through the article, you'll see the first one they mention is the Chinese yuan. Now, this was an ongoing thing, like I was talking about. China's currency was undervalued, and they were getting a lot of international pressure to raise the value of their currency because they weren't playing fair. They were beating the competition as far as exports is concerned because of the cheap value of their currency. And we kept pressuring, the United States kept pressuring them, and they didn't do anything. And finally, some representatives met with some Chinese officials, and they said, you either raise the value of your currency or we're going to impose tariffs on Chinese imports. And they said, they thought it over for a few minutes, and they said, we don't want tariff, we raise the value. Okay, so they went ahead and raised the value of their currency, and it went on for a period of several years. And finally, when their economy started to nosedive a couple of years ago, they began to lower the value again. But that was the first one back in 2012 they were recommending in this article, the Chinese yuan. The next one was the Indian rupee. There were a lot of people excited about the possibilities of making money on the Indian rupee, but it only went up about, I think at that time it went up about 20%, something like that, maybe a little bit more. And then the third one they were recommending was the Canadian dollar, which is also called the loonie from time to time. So as you read through this article, you'll read their analysis about these 3 currencies, how they're all set to go up in value. And then at the end of the article it says, bottom line, remember that we're talking about currencies here. So a move of 10 to 15% would be huge. To put it in Donald Trump lingo, huge. These 3 will represent the new world order in the currency market over the coming years, and the gains will reflect that. So they're saying 10 to 15% is a huge revaluation. Again, this is contrary to what people in the dinar community are being told. They're being told that the dinar is going to RV by 100,000%, 300,000%. Some people have said numbers, 500,000%. I mean, a revaluation to $5 would be 500,000%. People have given absolutely insane amounts that the dinar is going to revalue. And the fact of the matter is, the largest revaluation you're going to see is the 26% revaluation that occurred when they were on the crawling peg strategy from November of 2006 to January 1st, 2009. That's your revaluation. Now, if you got in after that, I'm sorry, you missed it. I missed it. I never heard of the dinar until after they went off of that crawling peg and back to their policy of exchange rate stability. Now, if you're asking, well, how do you know that that's what they were doing? Well, I have a few articles here that I think you might find interesting. The first one is what is called a dinar fact sheet. This was sent by the Treasury Department to a dinarian upon request. They were asking about a few things, and so they sent them this to answer a few of their questions. And one of the responses was the IQD, the Iraqi Dinar, has been pegged at 1170 to the US dollar since early January 2009. From 2006 to 2008, the CBI allowed the currency to appreciate by about 20%. Actually, it was more like 26%, according to my math, primarily as a way to combat inflation. See chart at right. Inflation peaked at more than 70% in 2006 and has remained below 10% since early 2008. So they're telling you right here that they raised the value to combat inflation. That's the reason that they did it, and it worked. They got it down below 10%. Now, the next article I'm going to show you is an IMF document. I'll have the links to all of these in the description. This IMF document says, this is on page 54, the Central Bank of Iraq has been conducting foreign exchange auction on a daily basis since October 4th, 2003. The central bank followed a policy of exchange rate stability, which has translated in a de facto peg of the exchange rate since early 2004. However, from November 2006 until the end of 2008, the CBI allowed the exchange rate to gradually appreciate. This is the crawling peg that I was talking about. To gradually appreciate. As a result, the exchange rate arrangement of Iraq was classified to the category of crawling peg effective November 1st, 2006. Since the start of 2009, the CBI returned to its earlier policy of maintaining a stable dinar. Consequently, the exchange rate arrangement of Iraq was reclassified effective January 1st, 2009 as a stabilized arrangement. This is an IMF document, folks. This is not some secret contact at the CBI. This is not some boots on the ground intel. This is an IMF document where I'm getting this. And they're telling you it was a crawling peg. And the reason from that dinar fact sheet for the crawling peg was to get inflation under control. Okay, inflation's under control now. It's remained under 10% for the last 5 years. They don't need to raise the value. So, all the talk that you hear about Iraq's being pressured to get this done, they need to raise the value, they're going to raise the value, they want to raise the value. What are they basing that on? They're certainly not basing it on documents like the Treasury Department's document, the dinar fact sheet, or the IMF document that I'm showing you here. So, yeah, the dinar did revalue, and it's not going to revalue any more than that unless inflation becomes a problem again. So, if you want to hold out and think, maybe inflation will become a problem again and they'll raise the value another 25, 26%, okay, go for it. But I don't think it's really worth the risk, because if they redenominate the currency, you're going to have a hard time exchanging your currency to get your money back. Are you going to risk everything you've put into the dinar for another long shot at a 25% increase? It's up to you. Okay, like I said, all of this is in the description if you want to verify what I've said. If you got any questions, let me and Marcus know at Iraq Currency Watch. Until next time, this is Sam I Am. Have a good day.